So, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Marcella Adinolfi, and at the municipality of Viadana, I'm in charge of the area to social services, culture, education. I'm going to provide a short summary of what we did administratively and under different aspects to be part of this network. First of all, I'd like to tell you about the working group that sort of told me about this project, and this project was the result of a shared group also with the professionals of other agencies like the ASL, voluntary associations. I'd like to mention these people because they are not all here today and they can't all talk because some of them are not here, some of them have to work. So next to the Council for Social Services was fundamental. So without her political support, we wouldn't have been able to go on and proceed. The social services, you heard talking before, Alessandra Tosi, the person in charge of the housing office, Claudia Caleffi, Daniela Parma from the local police, the head of the library, Antonio Agliani. So this is my small group. Then there are other people who have participated to the group, and there's Giancarla Biacchi, the social worker, Daniela Mantovanelli for the family consulting office, and then Antonio Tragnani, their consultant. They who sort of worked on the administrative part of the project. So trying to tell you briefly what we did, because officially we started at the end of 2008. And then it developed along 2009, 2010. Three levels were present: an operational, practical level with those who were involved, and then a political level with the councillor, and a level of coordination. And I had to work as operator in the various fields that were involved. Of course, there are more levels that were included. Of course, I didn't follow parallel paths, and the initial path was the fact of sharing this project. At first, within the municipality, the idea was, let's try and create an intercultural center like the one we had the opportunity of organizing this conference. This is the intercultural center of the provincial administration. Of course, this is our final objective. There are intermediate steps, gradual steps that we hope will be able to lead us to get to the final result. So there is a first step of creation of a sort of an info point. We would like to call it Without Borders, and it will be talked about by Mr. Agliani. And then we would like the center to become an organism in which the various groups of immigrants might have a more active role, so not just passive users, but they could be active there, to then be able to allow them to manage it. This is the final practical aim. At first, there was an internal dissemination of information that led us to consider the actions to get to the end, and then we shared with the other people involved belonging to the ASL and to another entity, reuniting together all the municipalities that are part of the health district of Viadana, and they supported us. After this sharing part, we understood we had to create an interinstitutional network. It was concrete and operational, so to avoid useless waste of money and duplication, and we identified an agreement protocol contract that is signed among different entities, and different entities and agencies commit themselves to do things. So rights and duties, well, let's say they are commitments of all the agencies involved. How did we get there? We shared the document, we presented it to those in charge of the ASL, the different entities. So it was accepted, and then the municipal council approved the project and signed the agreement protocol. And then to make our project operational at an organization level and at an administrative level, I had to include this objective in the framework of the objectives of the area I'm the head of, and then divide it in the activities of different people taking part in the project, to then be able to demonstrate that part of their work was devoted to this project, so that there can be a formal recognition of it, and also a justification, so to say, of the time used to achieve the results. So this agreement protocol is just a starting point, which is necessary to offer a status to the project, and then identifying objectives that were included in our management of time and staff, which is part of a normal routine. So applying the objectives of the administration onto the activities that have to be carried out by individual members of staff. So we started with this series of actions, and from a more concrete operational point of view, the aim that we shared was the opening up of an info point, and at the beginning we'd like it to be a point where to offer information, and offer information that often are difficult among the different agencies. I'd like now to give the floor to my colleague, Mr. Antonio Eliani, who will tell you more in detail about this aspect.